What happens when you put a software engineer with 20 years of experience in a room full of potential clients, but he has absolutely no idea how to close any of them? This is the story of Dom, a senior software engineer who was already showing up to local meetups and getting great feedback from business owners in the area. But he had no offer, no plan, and no real way to turn any of them into money. Then he joined Code to CEO. In just 5 weeks, he landed his first paying client, got a second contract on the table, and even got invited onto a local podcast that's already generating even more leads. Before we dive in, here's what makes Dom's story even crazier. Shortly after all of this, Dom had to move from the US to Australia, in a new country, new city, with zero connections. And because he already had the strategy, he was able to start rebuilding his client base from scratch almost immediately. But that's a story for another video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one.
Hey, good morning. I'm Dominic. I am the founder of Port City AI. With 20 years of experience in software engineering, I recently started a AI consulting agency or consulting business to help small businesses and small and medium businesses to start with their AI journey and hopefully help their customers to succeed better with the help of the latest AI technology.
That's great, Dom. Yeah, you got quite a lot of experience, similar to Masa, which I believe is another one of our senior engineers, and Balaj as well. But that reminds me, we've been working together for, let me think, a little over 4 weeks, well, 5 weeks now.
Yeah.
About 5 weeks. We had 1 week off, so which would have been 6. But yeah, we've been working together for 5 weeks. And I remember when we first started, what were you struggling with most that kind of made you join the community, that made you join Coach?
Sure. At that point, I really just started. I really just decided that I want to start Port City AI, because my last contract just ended. I also just recently, at that point, started going to the Lower Alabama AI meetup. I had a presentation about RAG technology with AI answering questions on your data, and I got a lot of good feedback from the crowd there. And those are all small business owners. They're not in technology as much. They're more at the meetup to see what is out there. So when we first started this workshop or this accelerator, what I struggled with is actually like formulating what I want to do. I just gave a presentation. I just had some feedback of like, oh, this is really great. You should make that into a company. So I needed to like wrap my head around now being a startup founder. And yeah, that's kind of what I struggled with. And then like talking about customer acquisition and like setting up a offering for the customers. My company.
I see. So sort of like a mix of having a business plan / vision, customer acquisition, how to acquire clients, as well as what to even offer to acquire those clients, what service to offer, like a mix of.
Yeah, exactly.
And was that your like primary motivation, or was there something more to it? Because a few of the folks, for example, mentioned they love the community aspect of things. I know you touched upon that as well. Love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's definitely also the community and like have people around me that were at least like close to me that are roughly in the same position or in the same step into an entrepreneurial journey. Like working remote and working as a single founder can be quite isolating almost. So having these Friday morning calls, for example, to be able to like tell people what I've been up to, and like in a way as a sounding board for, hey, does this make sense what I'm doing, but also a bit of of a responsibility towards them, and like, hey, like this is last week what I said I will do, and like, oh, I haven't fulfilled my promises. Like, well, why not? And like, what else have I done? So there is a reasoning behind that. I can come into the team and like say, okay, like this is what I've done, or this is what I said I will do. This is what I've done. It's me motivation, and somebody to be accountable.
Yeah, that's a great point. Constantine mentioned the same thing. He's like,
Yeah,
it's the accountability, and I don't want to show up to the call having done
yeah,
nothing. So it's
yeah,
always, there's always something that pushes me to get something done, even if I was going
yeah,
to say, let's put it off for the next day. I know for the
yeah,
fact that Friday call's coming up, I need to get it done because I know everybody else will have gotten it done. So
yeah, yeah.
following that up, what would you say would be your
Yeah.
not necessarily favorite aspect, but well, you can also touch upon that, what your favorite aspect is, but also how did it help you? Did you gain any new specific knowledge, anything numbers wise, just overall as a result? What is the difference between you 5, 6 weeks ago and now? What did you gain?
Yeah. It is actually really hard for me to like um, see where I would be without the community, because the two things like flowed into each other so much. I couldn't say like, oh, this is totally down to the community versus it just developed, but I think it just made my starting point much easier. Um, Definitely the resources that you're providing, interview guides, for example, anecdotes from your own business experience. They help, and they help to inspire as well. Like, oh, like this is totally possible.
Yeah, that's why usually I think the first thing I talked about was beliefs. If you remember, the first week we started with beliefs. And that's for a really important reason. If you don't believe something is possible, you're not going to try to do it or
Yeah,
make it possible. That's why the
yeah,
first step is understand it's possible, and then you can work towards it, actualizing it. But I remember, I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago, you landed your first paying client, right? If I'm not mistaken.
yeah. Correctly. At this point, it's still on a handshake basis. We haven't exchanged money yet, but like this will come through. He's not going to turn and
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
We also do something else together, that I can't talk at this point what this is, but he also like was looking for, in a very separate environment, looking for a business partner. A few days ago, I got an email from another client that I had sent a proposal before, and then we had a lunch meeting, and he showed me various things in from his business and what he wants to do, and then essentially, like, he's very technical. He's doing solutions for businesses himself. So I was like, look, here is the document that I sent you as a Google document. Go in there, go wild on the requirements. Like, you can do requirements yourself. You know what you want. Put them in, and then I review them. And so he just got back to me like, hey, I've updated that. So in the coming week, I will go through that, and then most probably we're going to sign a contract.
That's perfect.
Uh,
Yeah.
for it. In the beginning, it will be a small work setup. It won't be $100,000, but like, again, he has also customers that he wants to satisfy, and once they know what his software now can do with AI, there is going to be follow-up work.
No, yeah, that's really great news, Dom. Happy for you. And it's people have a misconception that you need a lot of clients to work with, but in reality, you need 1 or 2 good clients, and then you need to do excellent work for those clients, and they refer you to more people, and it
Yeah,
becomes
yeah,
this snowball that just gets bigger and bigger as time goes on until you get to a point where you stop seeking clients and clients start seeking you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I know you, I think both of your clients you met in person, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So this really started through the Lower Alabama AI meetup here, which is just a local, as mentioned before, just a local meetup of AI enthusiasts, but almost more of local small companies or business owners that live in the Greater Mobile, Fairhope area in Lower Alabama, and they want to see what's happening in that field, like beyond ChatGPT and Claude. How can they use AI for their own companies? And on both of them, both of the clients I've met through those startups, those meetups, and yeah, that is really good. And like in the long run, obviously, I hope to go and build a more global potentially clientele. But for me, at least right now, as a startup founder, it really helps to be able to go for a coffee or go into an office and have a chat, at least in the beginning. Um, that way, it's mouth to mouth uh, recommendations as well, much easier if you have a personal connection. And in regards to the personal connection, so the one of those clients, he is he's the host of a podcast that I've been a guest on just this week. So I've been invited to come in and pretty much what we're doing right now, talk about how my business is set up to help the local community of businesses in applying AI and what the capabilities are. And the other co-host has a landscaping business and has a martial arts gym, and he's like, I need your number after this. I want you to come in and like we talk about what you can do for my landscaping company, for my other business. So that's probably going to be the next couple of weeks where at least I pick up the phone and call him and like, hey, when do you want to meet?
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect news. Really happy for you, Dom. I
Thank
always
you.
go to say in-person client acquisition. That's why I stress about it so much, and I stress about things such as communication. I stress about things such as first appearance, taking gifts when the first time you're meeting somebody, dressing properly, things like that. Because the ROI from that, it takes very little time from you,
Yeah,
maximum 30 minutes a day probably, or like not even that. But then the ROI you get from that is, in many cases, infinite because you never know what
yeah,
that
yeah,
relationship can take you. And with
yeah,
that, I want to
exactly. Yeah.
have, yeah, I want to do kind of like a follow-up question because the progress you've made is insane in 5 to 6 weeks.
Mm.
I'll tell you, when I first started off, I did not make that level of progress within 5 to 6 weeks. It took me months
And,
before I've got my first paying
yeah,
client. So if you keep up
yeah,
this momentum, I don't know where you'll be in 3 months from now or even 6 months from now. I'm
mm,
sure when we
mm,
get on an interview call then, in 3 months from now or 6 months from now, you'll be somewhere completely different that you yourself might not even realize, and then you'll think back
yeah,
on
yeah,
this interview today and you'll be like, wow,
mm,
look at the progress I made. So with
yeah,
that, I sort of want to get an understanding of if you had to look at yourself 6 weeks ago, where you started
mm.
off, where are you now as an entrepreneur slash software engineer?
Yeah, definitely much further developed and like more, not so much as a software engineer as such. I did less coding than I did probably before, but having the an entrepreneurial mindset and having even like developing ideas. I actually talked about that to my wife recently. Right, for many years, I was a software engineer, and I was like working for startups and remote, so I had a lot of kind of I could manage my time myself, but I always was trying to think about, oh, what is an idea that I could implement for like even for a small SaaS. I don't even need to make money, just something to have out there. And I never really like had an idea. And like in the last 3 or 4 weeks, I see problems everywhere, and it's like, oh, I want to solve them, but I have to also like just put them in my big book of ideas, because I can't just run away and start implementing all of it. But so that's a big difference to like see ideas and solutions, or see problems and solutions. I think that's what entrepreneurial spirit is about as well, seeing problems and then trying them out, and then what point you're gonna hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I love that. You described two of the things I always talk about, right? The mindset shift from software engineer to entrepreneur, as well as how coding less can potentially earn you more money down the line.
Yeah.
And you kind of understand, okay, this is what coding less meant. Not literally on the job I start coding less, but this
Yeah.
is the type of mindset shift you need to have.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's been great, Dom, catching up with you.
Yeah.
If you had to leave the viewers with a thought or whatever the case, whether it's about Code to CEO or just overall as a business owner, what would be a couple lines of wisdom that you want to?
Um, sure. The the main point really is just go and do it, just start it. Right? Even if it's not as your full-time business yet. But for me, a book that I recently read, and it's very short um, and quick to read, is The $1 Million Weekend. And it is really, it is embodied this idea of like go develop an idea and then like validate it even before you build it. And I think it's in his book as well. If not now, when? Like if you can do it now, do it now. Not like, oh, I need to wait until the economy is better, or I need to wait until something happens, until I read that other book, or I know this new technology. So just go do it now. And there's, in a way, there is not much that you can do wrong. Like if you go and try, at least maybe something doesn't work, but at least you try. Um, and if you give it your earnest capabilities and effort, then I'm fairly sure that you can actually succeed.